What's all the buzz about? Welcome to the Conscious Buzz podcast, where we awaken, align, and bloom together. I'm B, and I'm so glad you're here. Hello, and welcome back to the Conscious Buzz podcast, where we dive into conscious conversations. And hello, I'm B, the host. Thank you so much for buzzing into today's episode. And for those who are watching, we are on a beach. And for those who are listening, you may hear some waves, some seagulls in the background, some wildlife. We are currently on the top of Washington. I can see Canada right now. And I've been extremely blessed to have some very sunny days here in Washington. And today I really wanted to talk to you guys about being a beginner again, because I have been on a journey throughout spring, and it's almost the summer solstice. And it feels really right to come on here and share this with you guys. For those of you who are thawing out right now as summer comes in, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about aligning with the version of you that feels the most authentic. And this is because I have been on a journey of being a beginner again, and the rediscovery of myself and my desires and the things that I love to do, the things that truly bring me joy, all started from rediscovering myself and aligning with a version of myself that felt like the truest version of me. And this realization came because last year, I spent the year living for someone else, but this someone else was completely worthy of living for. They were going through a health crisis, and it caused me to come off the road and travel literally all the way across the country from San Diego to Florida, and to spend my whole year taking care of my mom. And while I was doing that, I was so grateful to be able to do that for her. But at the same time, right before she had her health scare, I had just become a certified yoga teacher. And I've been on a yoga journey since 2015, 2016. And I have always lived a very woo-woo witchy lifestyle, thankfully, due to my mother. And she has taught me so many things about healing, the different modalities. I have tons of people in our little coven that do tarot, crystal ball readings, pendulum, psychics, herbalists, all of the above. And so for me, I've always kind of lived a more spiritual lifestyle. But as I get older, I had dabbled in the medical field a little bit, and that just truly sucked the life out of me. And for my whole life, I've been an artist. I've been making art for as long as I can remember due to the beautiful artsy woo-woo family that I grew up in. And because of that, I was able to try so many new healing modalities. I was able to try so many new ways of art, different art forms. And I got to really experiment with the things that made me happy. Now, as I graduated high school and moved into college, I got a scholarship. And so I went into what felt safe and what felt like it was going to take care of me and be a really good path. And I loved the aspects of my job because I was able to, I was able to travel because of that. And while I was traveling has this really funny way of showing you different ways of life. And so then your way of life is now no longer the only path that you see, because you've been exposed to different humans, different ways of life, different ways of being, and different ways of existing. And after I had a year taking care of my mom, and she's doing great, and I made the decision to go back on the road and to live this life that I had always wanted to live, it felt like a new beginning. It felt like a fresh start because I had been living a life that was really awesome. I'm so sorry. I'm seeing wild sea lions right now. This is incredible. Wow. So, like I said, seeing different ways of life and different ways of being and existing. And man, when I got back out on the road, it felt like a new beginning. It felt like the world was my oyster and I could do anything that I wanted. And so I decided to not take it for granted this time. I have always wanted to be a YouTuber. I have been teaching and practicing yoga for many years now. And for the last year, I took a break and I pretty much was only going to raves and music festivals because that was what was really easily accessible in downtown Orlando. The beach was an hour away. I needed to take care of my mom almost around the clock. And so this year, because I pretty much spent all last year doing something that felt really fun and fulfilling, but not longevity soul fulfilling. And so I decided to give any dream that I had my all. And one of those things was being a YouTuber, a podcaster, and a yoga teacher. And the reason that these are so important to me, and I hope that while I'm talking about this, you can start sifting through your own mental filing cabinet and find things that maybe you resonate with, or maybe it'll trigger some memories for you on things that feel good to you. But I love documenting. I love YouTube because I have always gone on really awesome adventures, and I love to share it with my friends, my family, maybe some family members who aren't able to go out on these adventures, maybe due to age, maybe due to health, maybe due to finances. And it was because of videos like this that I knew the type of life that I wanted, because I lived vicariously through other people and other travelers. And I've always been so obsessed with cinematography. My dad was in the film business growing up, and so I did lots of movies, commercials. I was on the set of a lot of them. My dad did some pretty amazing things. He worked on Waterboy, House on Haunted Hill, Fast and Furious, Snow Dogs, and that's just a few. So growing up with cameras all around was a reality for me. I remember having a camcorder and I would vlog everything with no real reason as to why. And then I remember looking at those VHS tapes years later and just being so happy that I captured those moments. And that trend has carried into my life today. And so when I was out here, I was telling my mom while she was going through her health crisis, I was telling her all about the adventures that I had done, the things that I had done, and the short form content just didn't do it for me. It didn't fully capture the magic. And also it just felt very short lived. And I love depth, and creating on YouTube felt like depth. And so this year, starting when I got on the road in November, I did the Vlogmas series and I challenged the heck out of myself. But I must tell you my flaws. And that flaw being, I have gone through a few different types of editing softwares. And I'm not going to get into that unless you are also an aspiring YouTuber and you would like me to do a podcast on that. Please leave it in the comments below, send me a message. But I started on a free platform. I tried a paid platform. When I knew I liked the free platform, I invested in a paid editing platform. And I used that editing platform for the past 2 to 3 years. And I only edited vlogs when I wanted to. I wasn't like one of those YouTubers that posted all the time. I just captured the moments that I wanted to capture, pieced them together, and voila. And I still reminisce on those vlogs with my friends to this day. And I'm so grateful for them because I get to see my beginning journeys of like realizing that this fulfilled me, and then just how that urge kept growing. My mom has this quote, and she told it to me a long time ago. And she said, if it is your calling, it'll keep calling. Now, I know that's not her quote, but it's who I heard it from, and so that's where it lives now. And YouTube is something that has always, always called to me. I love to just capture the beauty. So I had to become a beginner again. And in my fault of buying a platform to edit on or software to edit on, I felt like I was married to that platform and I couldn't divorce it. And in this journey of becoming a beginner again, my partner, sweet angel baby, honey boo boo, loves me down and just wants the best for me, tried his hardest to get me to switch to a platform that he utilized for editing his photos. He's a photographer. I'm a videographer. And he's like, babe, please try it. Just try it. And I resisted for so long. For so long, I resisted trying that platform. And I think it's because I was scared to learn a new platform. I was scared because his is month to month base, whereas the one that I bought was a one-time purchase and that's it. But when I tried his platform and I had my dear friend Manny, who is a videographer and photographer as well, he helped walk me through all of the quirks of the platform. He taught me how to use it. And to this day, Manny, if you're listening, thank you so much. Because with Alan convincing me and Manny teaching me, it changed my editing process and made me fall in love even deeper with the creation of making videos. And it also helped me enhance my videos and they look so much better. And I wish I would have done it earlier. I wish I would have gotten the platform a year ago when I was taking care of my mom, because I still have vlogs that I will edit now that I'm more emotionally stable about my time there. And I can't wait to piece those together and I can't wait to share them. But I wasn't allowing myself to be a beginner. I thought, I have this platform. I know how to use it. I don't want to change. And that was silly of me. And so if you're listening to this and you are on a journey, remain open, because that's something that I wasn't. I was not remaining open. And when I finally gave in, it was like, why didn't I do this sooner? So following my calling, being a beginner again, it is now halfway through the year and I have gotten monetized on YouTube. I have a beautiful editing flow and I'm capturing videos that I'm so proud of. And it's all because I allowed myself to be a beginner again. Same thing with my podcast and teaching yoga. With my podcast, I didn't really have a good mic. I didn't really have anything. I didn't really understand how to do anything, but I have things to say. Like I said, I grew up in a spiritual household and I have all of these tools and I have all of this knowledge. And when I talk to my friends, when I talk to my family, all of them are like, you need a podcast. I love the sound of your voice. I think that you're very calming. I love this information and I'm absorbing as much as I can, but I wish I could go back and replay our conversation when I need it as a reminder. And so I was like, I love having conscious conversations. I love talking to my friends. I love having these deep soul connections and I love to talk about them. And I think other people could benefit from them too. Thus the journey of becoming a podcaster. Now, currently, something that fulfills me the most is documenting. And also I'm traveling. And last year I was not able to travel because I was taking care of someone. So being and traveling and zipping through all these places, I want to capture them. I want to share them with my mom, my dad, my sister, my family members back home. And in doing that is capturing. And I've been honing in on my cinematography. I've been learning, I've been practicing, I've been just really sharpening my craft. And now that all of my friends have left, they've gone back to where they're going, they're traveling, and I've been by myself, which is kind of where this podcast bubbled up from, is in being by myself, I was able to reflect. I was able to really realize this journey that I've been on, and When you're by yourself, you no longer wear a mask. And all of this journey started by my alone time, my journaling time, my self-reflection time, and wanting to live a life that is more aligned to the person that I want to become. And like I mentioned all of those things before, I know who I want to become. I know the type of life that I want to live. And so in doing that, being a beginner over and over and over again will be a theme in life forever, which is why I feel like this podcast episode is so important, both for myself to listen back on, but also to share with other people that if there's a version of you, what do they do? What do they do? And so how can we even get to the point of understanding what it is that alignment looks like for us? Well, let me take you through the steps. Basically, isolate yourself first. Go on dates with yourself. Take yourself out somewhere that you've been wanting to go, but no one has been able to go with you. Do it alone. Do it scared, right? Because when you do this, you are telling your soul and yourself that I'm a safe space to be with. I enjoy my own company. I love my own company. I'm a joy to be around. And so when I was back home, a lot of things that I did when I wasn't taking care of my mom was I was going on lots of self and solo dates. And when I would do that, I would get to pack my own snacks, pick the location, pick the time I wanted to go, and how much time I wanted to spend there. I didn't have to consider anybody else. And it's in the considering of other people that you hinder your true desires in living authentically. And obviously that's fine sometimes. Like obviously I want to go to the beach sometimes, or I want to go to the springs with some friends. And so accommodation is key. But when you are learning to take yourself on a journey by yourself and learning what feels good to you, you need to have no external sources. I love my puppy dog who's sitting right off of camera, but sometimes I need to go without her either. I don't want to consider if she's tired, if it's hot, if she's thirsty, if whatever. I want to just listen to what I want. Do I want to stay here longer? Do I want to linger longer? Do I want to hang out? Do I want to go? Is this spot too crowded? Do I need to go somewhere else, right? And so when you spend alone time with yourself, you get to feel what you actually want to do. And in my solo self dates, I got to go explore places that I've always wanted to go to, but like maybe my friends didn't want to go, or maybe the people I were with didn't have time to go. Oh my gosh, it's starting to sprinkle a little bit. Thank you, Washington, for the cleanse. I'm going to try and wrap this up just so that I don't get all of my devices wet, because she was beautiful and sunny just a minute ago. But something that someone told me and reminded me about, and it's something that I've known, and just in case you don't, I really want to share it with you. And that is, every single version of you exists within you. Your 8-year-old self, your 5-year-old self, your 3-year-old self, your rebellious teenage self, they all are currently residing within you right now. And this was reminded to me just a week ago because my little sister was in town, she was visiting, and because I live full-time on the road, I don't really get to see my family very often. I don't really get to see my sister. And her being here and exploring Washington and Oregon is something that her and I both align with very deeply, and it's a place that feels like home to us. We talked about buying a sister house out here so many times while she was here, and I think it's something I really want to act on one day. But when she was leaving, I was so sad. And the story is relevant. It does have a point. I was so sad when my sister was leaving. On the day that she was leaving, I was making us breakfast. She was outside on the beach making us some mimosas. And I started sobbing over breakfast, completely sobbing because I was so sad. And I reached out to a couple of my friends who I'm really close with. And I was like, hey, I'm genuinely like teetering on crash out territory, but like I know I'm going to see my sister for the holidays. It's only summer. Like I'm going to be back home. I promised my mom I'd come home for the holidays. Like why can I not stop crying? Like I look like a blubbering baby and I need to go hang out with my sister. And one of my beautiful friends, Lexi, reminded me that each version of us resides within us. And so while my 27-year-old self, logically knows that I'm going to see my sister, my 7 or 8-year-old inner child doesn't get it. And so sitting with myself and reminding myself that it's okay, because when we are aligning with ourselves, we also have to realize that we have every version of us within us, and we have many patterns to unlearn. And that 8-year-old self of mine was so sad that her baby sister was leaving, because she watches over her baby sister. She takes care of her baby sister. And so her baby sister leaving, I can't take care of her anymore. I can't feed her. I can't make sure she's getting a good night's rest. I can't, I have to leave that up to her to make the right decision on where to camp at night and what's safe and her road trip home. And I logically know that my sister is very capable. She drove all the way here. She's independent. She's strong. But her leaving really, really, really triggered a younger version of myself. I'm not sure which one, but whichever one it was, she was throwing the biggest tantrum. And that grounded reminder of sometimes our emotions aren't always ours. Like, yes, I logically know that it's totally fine, and I'll see her again and it's no big deal. Hug, kiss, goodbye. I'll miss you. I'll see you later. But imagine a little child and their best friend leaving, and they're going to see them tomorrow at daycare, but they don't consciously realize that, and they're throwing a tantrum. And so in this path of living an aligned version of yourself and becoming a beginner again, oftentimes people say that our adulthood is just unlearning all of the things that we thought were right. And so on this journey of being a beginner again, I thought it was really necessary to share that sometimes you should reflect on the things that you really liked doing as a child. And so as a child, I was in gymnastics, I was in kung fu, I was in dance, and that all led me to a yoga practice. And that is inevitably what I'm doing. And I'm so excited to deepen my yoga practice and my yoga journey. And the deeper I get into my path of alignment, the more things I'm starting over. Like as a child, I loved making mud pies and potions, and we had a little mud kitchen outside. And a couple years ago, I realized that when I first heard this information of do what your younger version of you would want, or do what really used to bring you joy as a child. And I was like, oh my gosh, I loved making mud pies. And that sparked the idea of herbalism. And so up here in Washington, I really wanted to explore it. It's the evergreen state. But one day I will come here and I will take an herbalism course. While I was driving through, I identified some wild white yarrow. There's buttercups, foxtails. Not only am I into herbs, but I'm also into like flowers. And the diversity up here is so rich. And when I dove into my herbalism journey a couple years ago, I found a couple of people that are beautiful candidates for me to shadow under when I have a free summer to do so. And, that is something that is on my list of things that I want to deepen myself in. And so when you are trying to reinvent yourself or align with a version of you of what you want, I would highly recommend spending time alone, recognizing that your emotions may not be your current cognitive self. They could be a younger version of you bubbling up inside, and try and do things that younger version of you liked. Like there's a young version of me that just loves sitting in a remote place like this, making art, hanging out, spending time with myself. And as an adult, when I wake up really early and go and do those things because I can, it feels so fulfilling. Because as a child, I had to wait for mom or dad to wake up because it wasn't safe for me to adventure. But the sun is rising and they're still sleeping, and I'm missing my favorite part of the day. So now as an adult, I force myself to get up and get out of bed, and I never, ever, ever regret it. Ever. Not once have I regretted getting out of bed and going to see a sunrise. So take this episode as a way to dive into yourself. Write down things that you like to do, even if they're just hobbies, because crochet and making art used to be a hobby and now it's my full-time business. Sewing fun clothes used to be just for fun, and now I do it as a living. And, I really hope the same for podcasting and YouTube. But at the same time, even if they don't go anywhere, just the act of creation is so fulfilling. And even if only one person watches my video and likes it, or one person listens to my podcast and can pull away from it, that is worth it to me. And the amount of times that I've been able to have all of these knowings and understandings about myself, talking to a friend, having a conversation, and them wanting to go deeper into that topic, oftentimes I already have a podcast related to it and I can just send that to them. And that is exactly why I started podcasting. And same thing with YouTube. I had a friend who really wanted to go somewhere. I said, no way. I have a YouTube video of my time there. Here, let me send it to you. And they were able to gain inspiration and an itinerary from that. And that's all I want to do, is I want to inspire people, because other people have inspired me to live a life that's different. Like, yes, I'm not working in the hospital, 12-hour shifts, and I'm not exhausted, and I don't have a set schedule. But this life of never knowing where I'm going to be in the next few days feels right to me. Making art, lingering in places longer because I can, feels right to me. And I really hope that you can take something from this podcast. Remember to honor your inner child. Maybe do something your inner child likes. Make a list, journal, and really try and connect with yourself. Boredom is key also. I often find when I'm bored, I can just rest into the present moment, and then something will come to me like, hey, maybe we should go stroll on the beach and gather some rocks to paint and leave in beautiful places that we visit, because that's something I really enjoy doing. Or let's go walk around and see if we can identify some of the plants around here, because, you do want to practice herbalism here in Washington one day. So maybe we should go look around, and if you don't know a plant, take a photo, and when you come back, write it down in your plant finding book, and do that. While I'm here, I'm really hoping to fulfill my love of mushroom hunting. I created a mushroom logbook a couple years ago when I really got into mycology and studying mycology. And I even got a morel mushroom tattooed on my arm, even though I've yet to find one in real life. I have one tattooed on my body because I think they're very cute. I think that they're awesome. And I would love, 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 love to see one in real life. But thank you so much for listening to the Conscious Buzz podcast and having conscious conversations. I really hope this inspires you to dig back in your brain and learn about what it is that really brought you joy as a child, and try implementing that now into your life as an adult and see how it makes you feel. Because for me, every time I do something that my inner child would have loved, I feel so excited. I feel so happy. I finished a painted rock. Oh my God, I'm 27, but it's like you just gave a kid candy, or you just told a kid yes to something you've been saying no to. So allow yourself to live from the different perspectives that all reside within you. Like Shrek said, we are onions and we have layers. So I encourage you to dig deep into what those layers are, because I believe that our childhood is a huge reflection on what our life path is. Because as children, we're not hindered. If we want to scream, if we want to cry, if we want to do something, we do it. We don't need permission. So as an adult, it's reminding yourself that you don't need permission to do the things that light you up. You don't need permission to do the things that feel good to you. And so in case you needed that permission, here it is. Take it and go do something that your inner child would love, and start listening to them, because my inner child always wants to linger. My inner child always wants to stay longer, and she always really wants to enjoy all that there is to enjoy. And truly, my inner child is my guide. She reminds me all the time to slow down, to look at the rocks, to enjoy the weather, and to be here, because my inner child did not have social media. She didn't have technology. She had what was right in front of her. So if you've been feeling a little stuck in life and want to live a life more aligned, try reflecting back and try something new, and allow yourself to be a beginner again. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you want to try something, the best time is now. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. If you feel inclined, I'd love to know your favorite part of this episode, what resonated, And I can't wait to chat with you again soon. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you later. I love you. Goodbye.